best believe you'll catch me at the Emirates at that semi-finals game. I got my ticket literally the day after because I was like, I'm not messing around with this. I need to be there because welcome back to the Arsenal Humans podcast with me, Luce. I feel like this week it has been mostly focused on the women's side again, which is the same as last podcast. But towards the end of this episode, we're going to be predicting the men's games because they're back in action and the women are actually going to be on their international break. So it's going to switch around this week. But it's been a good week. It's actually been a very, very good week. We've scored 7 goals and let in none. But before I waffle on and tease you a little bit more, let's actually just get into the warm-up poll and get into this episode as a whole. Okay, so as I said in that little intro there, it has been mostly the women's game that we've been focused on, and one player in particular. I mean, there's been a lot of standout players this week, as there always is with Arsenal, but there's been one player in particular that has been on everyone's mind, and that is obviously Alessia Russo, who scored loads of goals at the start of the week in that Champions League game. A couple of them were offside, minor details, but I thought this question has got to be based around her because arguably she is the best striker right now anyways for Arsenal. So it sort of got me thinking, is she the best striker currently and overall, or just currently, or overall, or neither? Like, it just got me thinking about how we rank her in the list of all attacking Arsenal players, if you get me. So the question is Russo Arsenal women's best ever striker? The poll answers, 83% of you said yes, Alessia Russo is the best striker, and 17% of you said no, she isn't. And I'm going to have to disagree with the poll this week, guys. Not because I don't think she's the best currently, because I 100% believe Alessia Russo is the best striker we've got currently, but I don't think she is the best overall just yet. Yet being the key word, because, I mean, I've just got people like Kelly Smith, number 10 Arsenal shirt, when I was first watching them in like 2012, around that sort of time, like when I was like 10, 11, I was first watching them. Kelly Smith dominated. She was obviously more of like a cam player as well, like central midfielder, 2 striker. She was one of the best attacking players, scored, I don't even know how many goals, I should probably fact check that, but she scored over 100 goals for Arsenal, and yeah, just one of the best. Then if we look a little bit more recently, we've got Vivianne Mead, who's obviously the WCL top goal scorer. She scored 100 goals for Arsenal, phenomenal. Like, I'm pretty sure she is the top women's scorer for Arsenal as well. And then I'm like, Alessia Russo, she's up there. I'd say she's got to be in the top like 5. She's got to be in the top 5 attacking players for Arsenal. But I think if we're looking overall, she's not at the top just yet. But I have no doubt that she will be at the top of that list. Give it maybe like 5 years, I'd say. Obviously, it depends as well what happens with this Champions League run, because we are through to the semi-finals. Also, I'm going to get into, probably should have waited till I actually reflect on the game, but I'll get into it a little bit more. But yeah, I think right now, obviously you can't deny she's the best. She has scored the most goals this season, but not only just is she a good goal scorer, she's good at creating that play. And I feel like, I mean, obviously since Renée Slegers became the manager of Arsenal this season, back in October, I want to say October, November, and then it became more permanent in the new year, Russo is back. Russo is unreal, and yeah, she definitely is the best player right now. But I'm hoping in a season's time, in a year or two's time, I'll do this poll again and I'll ask the same question, and I'm sure I'll then answer yes and agree with all of you. But I'm sure most of the people that have said yes is based on sort of right now, who are we looking at? And also, if you don't have, if you weren't watching Arsenal, maybe back when it was like Kelly Smith there. Obviously, you do have Vivianne Mead, who's more recent, but yeah. Either way, she will get there. And you know what? Before I carry on waffling about how great she is, I'm going to reflect on the games of this week because she's going to be mentioned there. Shock. Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0. I actually still can't believe that. I'm still in shock. Honestly, what a great start to the week. And I mean, we've got 2 games to reflect on this week. And I also want to touch on the new dating show which Arsenal introduced, which just sounds so funny. I thought it was fake at first, but it just sounds so funny. So I'm going to mention that a little bit in a few moments. But first, we've got to focus on that Champions League game, because we went into that game 2-0 down. And I was like, okay, it's against Real Madrid. I know they don't have the same calibre, they don't have the same reputation as their men's side do in the Champions League. But I was like, it's still Real Madrid. And also coming back 2-0, I was like, we've really got to pull out the bag. And boy, did we do that. Honestly, it's actually mental. I mean, first half. Okay, firstly, I was there. I was there at that game. I was sat and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? The first half, we were dominating, and I was like, guys, this is amazing. We could actually win, but we're just not clinical whatsoever. I mean, I was sat, so first half I was by where Real Madrid would score, if that makes sense. So I was by Daphne Van Dorm in her net, whereas we were shooting that way. So the whole game I was just watching over there, like, oh my God, are we going to score? Are we not? And then nothing happened. And I was like, what is going on? I mean, I have no idea what Renee Slagers said at halftime. No idea. But whatever she said, it worked, because if we look at the times of the goals, we had Russo and Caldente both scoring. Russo obviously scored 2, Caldente scored 1. And Russo got the first one in the 46th minute, and then the last of the 3 goals went in the 59th minute. That is 13 minutes apart. So within 13 minutes, we had scored 3 goals. So in 13 minutes, we decided whether we wanted to actually be in the Champions League or not. And to me, that is just mad. That is actually mental. I mean, Russo did actually score 4 goals that game, and they were all literally, because of where I was sat, it meant that I saw all the goals, all 5 goals firsthand. I mean, 2 of them obviously were offside, which is why it was only 3-0. But I'm just happy that we ended up winning anyways, because I think if we got those goals offside and we ended up not even going for it, but what is, like, that would just, because it's very humbling the amount of times we got up to celebrate, and then within a few minutes we're like, okay, let me just sit back down, not a goal just yet. But it didn't matter, because like I said, we won 3-0. I wanna highlight the whole team, because the whole team was unreal. I think that's got to be the best game I've seen this season. Probably the best game of the last couple of seasons, but definitely this season. I mean, we wanted to be there, we wanted to win, and it just, that sort of passion, I feel like it ran over into the weekend, 100%. You can see that result, which I'll get on to a couple minutes time, but I'm hoping that I can carry on, because our next fixture, we do have an international break, so our next fixture will be when we go to the semi-finals against Lyon. So I'm hoping that we can keep up that momentum and that passion, because honestly, like, we really wanted it. We really wanted to be there, which was so good to see. But I just, want to highlight a few players in particular. Chloe Kelly, firstly, I've got to highlight her, because most of the goals came from her. I mean, her running down the wing, you almost see players changing which channels they're running down. So then obviously for defenders, they get used to one style play and then they have to adapt, which is obviously more confusing for them, better for us. But anyways, Chloe Kelly created most of the goals. I just think her being on the pitch, she's been so pivotal for us. I mean, at first obviously she wasn't getting as much game time. Now she's starting these games, and honestly you understand why, because she's unreal. So got to big up Chloe Kelly. Also want to mention Mariana Caldenti as well as Alessia Russo, because I mean, I've said it all the time now, and I feel like them two have definitely got to be player of the seasons. But I also feel like you've got a forward in there, you've got Chloe Kelly, you've got Daphne Van Dorm, so like all these players you could mention, but I just feel like they obviously had to have that mention, because they were literally the ones that got the goals. And Russo as well, what she does off the ball, truly, truly remarkable. And the final person that I just want to quickly mention as well for that game, I feel like I'm doing an acceptance speech or something, but no, the final person I want to mention has got to be DVD, Daphne Van Dorm, because there were 2 saves in particular she did. She did 1 in the first half and 1 in the second half. And I feel like if she wasn't there, if she didn't pull off those saves, well, it would have been a completely different story. We wouldn't have been through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And I feel like everyone focuses so much on the goal scorers, which obviously I have so far, so don't get me wrong, it's good to do that. But I feel like she needs that credit. I mean, one in particular, it was the second half. I think it was maybe... Oh, this is testing my memory. This is testing my memory. I feel like we were like 1 or 2-0 up at that point. And obviously then that's like 2 over aggregate. So like, we're not through yet, if that makes sense. And then suddenly they shot, and honestly, Daphne just like tipped it over the bar, like somehow got to it. And that, I think that almost got a bigger round of applause than when our strikers actually scored. I mean, I feel like that save actually got a bigger round of applause than when we actually scored, because it just showed how much it meant to us. And I'm so happy that she was able to pull off a save like that. Actually, I take that back. That was in the first half, because that was crazy. We were literally so, like, close to scoring, and then suddenly they get a chance and they nearly score, and it proved how quick that game could have changed. But I'm so happy it went in our favour. So best believe you'll catch me at the Emirates at that semi-finals game. I got my ticket literally the day after because I was like, I'm not messing around with this. I need to be there because I'm not the most confident person with it. I will obviously get into it in a few episodes time when we play them again in my prediction section, but I'm not the most confident, but I do feel like we have a chance. I mean, I wasn't the most confident going into this game, and we somehow managed to pull off a 3-0 win. So honestly, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Moving on later towards the end of the week, we played Crystal Palace. It was an away game. That didn't really make a difference. We won 4-0. I did actually predict us to win 5-0 for this one. And I'm actually kind of like annoyed that I didn't go 4. I was like, oh, let's say 4-0 because we've had a few 4 and 5-0s recently. And I was like, oh, let's go more confident. I mean, unreal from us. It was really good to see Mead get 2. I feel like there's been a lot of debate over Mario Caldente, Beth Mead, which one do you want? And I think this game proved that we can have both on the pitch. That's something that, say if we had Jonas Edeval, I don't feel like he'd want to experiment with both players because you saw constantly there would be Russo, Blackstenius, Mornham, and he wouldn't really play those players at the same time, almost because maybe he felt like they played the same role. But with this, even though these players arguably do play very similar football, similar style play, I like how Rennes Lagers is taking that risk by playing both of them, and obviously it paid off because Beth Mead found the net twice, and obviously Caldente has found the net recently, so it's just really good to see them both together. I do feel like if you've got them in there, maybe Kyra Cooney Cross, Kim Little, it's sort of like where are their positions. But honestly, at the moment, you've got to put the strongest players at the start. Also, oh my god, mentioning Kim Little as well, the other game, that's someone that I feel like she goes unnoticed, and only when I really zoned in and focused and I was like, what she does, she calms the game, she controls the game. I think she's a player that we need to be having in that starting 11 for the semi-finals because she's someone that would just bring that calmness and experience. I mean, she's played for Arsenal for many, many years. I don't actually know the exact, but she's one of our most experienced players. She's obviously the captain, and you understand why. So in that Champions League game, she was crucial, and I'm hoping she'll be able to start in the next few games as well because we'll definitely need a player like her. But I think it's good that we've got options. We've got Caldente who can come off the bench, and we've got Mead as well. So that is really good to see. Also, it was really nice how Beth Mead, I think it was a sweet touch how Beth Mead also dedicated both the goals to her mum. And obviously it was on Mother's Day, so I feel like that was quite a touching moment. And obviously those goals were her 50th and 51st goals for Arsenal. So another mark in her career at Arsenal. I feel like we're constantly at Arsenal hitting these big marks and milestones, and it's just so good to get Beth Mead on that vibe as well. And then Russo obviously found the net as well. I mean, that sort of goes without saying. We kind of expect her to now, and it was great counter-attack from us because Palace kind of just lost the ball, and then Russo basically within a few touches like, this is why you shouldn't lose the ball, scored. Just nice along the ground, found the bottom left corner. And then another goal to make it 4 goals. Yes, it was 4-0. Was an own goal. I do feel like this has been a common thing. I kind of feel like the players should have credit. At first you think, oh, it's a bit unlucky. But if we look at the last 3-4 games, like WSL fixtures in particular, we've scored because the other teams have let in own goals, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's got to be down to our pressure. So it's just great to see. Also, another little side note that I want to quickly mention, because, it's always a hate watch vibe in football. I feel like that phrase has been going around a lot, and I'm like, yeah, that actually summarises it. Chelsea did actually draw yesterday, so we have narrowed the gap slightly to 6 points. We do have 4 games left, and if it was anyone else above Arsenal, I'd be like, we still have a chance of winning. Because it's Chelsea, I know we don't have a chance of winning, but we have a chance of, because of all this goal difference, we're second, even though we're equal on points to Man United. So I know that in the next 4 games we can definitely, it's actually, oh my god, it's actually crazy that there's only 4 games left of the season. That's actually really sad. That's mad. What am I going to do? Am I still going to do this pod? Oh, so many questions. Anyways, okay, so moving away from the actual playing side of Arsenal and focus on something which I feel like is so random but also so on brand for Arsenal, is not a new clothing line, don't get me wrong, I feel like it could have been that, and not new brands. I feel like we're partnering with them every week, which is so good, but it's something that I genuinely I genuinely thought was a joke at first, but it's a new Arsenal dating show called The Big Match. I mean, firstly, I'm loving the name. And if you go on the website and type in The Big Match, or if you even just type it in online, The Big Match, go on Arsenal's website. I'm going to read you the little intro part. Obviously, if you actually want to apply, you can read on a little bit more and fill out all the details. First question, do you love Arsenal? Do you love the Arsenal? What a good little hook to get the Gooners involved. The little paragraph says, match days at Emirates Stadium are a time to connect with the beautiful game and each other. It's for this reason that we're launching a new dating show that celebrates how a shared love of football can prove a catalyst for an even deeper romance. We are calling on all our single supporters in the UK to apply to be a part of the production, which will involve a blind date with a fellow Gooner centred around an Arsenal game. Isn't that crazy? Like, it actually doesn't even sound real, but honestly, you single lot should get involved in this. If you're a single Gooner, honestly, it sounds so funny. I mean, when you look at the actual concept of it, you're literally going to a football game, which is something that if you support Arsenal anyways, or if you're a football fan in general, you do that anyways. So it's something that you feel like you're in your comfort zone. As far as first dates go, I feel like you want to do an activity, because otherwise, imagine if you're just sat from someone just eating food, like it can get a bit awkward. If there's any awkward silences, then it's not really the vibe. Whereas if you're at a football game, you can start chanting or just watch the game. Like, you're not going to be talking the whole time at games. I know for me, I love to yap a bit at games, but I feel like you wouldn't be yapping the whole time. So I feel like it's actually quite a cool idea. Also, if you wanted to raise a family with this person and you felt like, I don't know, obviously that's looking really far into the future, but if you wanted to raise a family, at least you know the family is all going to support Arsenal. So yeah, I mean, a bit of a random thing, but I felt like I had to mention it because I just saw it and I found it funny. I feel like it's gone off on everyone's For You page, like my whole For You page on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, everyone's talking about it. So I thought I might as well have my little say on it. So if you lot are single, honestly, get involved. I feel like it would be funny. And now, moving from that, which is such like a chaotic, fun vibe, something a little bit more serious, but also very much needed at Arsenal. We have a new sporting director. Obviously, Edu left back in a few months ago. I don't remember the date. But we've now got a new sporting director. Andrea Berta has joined. He's got a lot of experience. I mean, just check this guy out. Like, look this guy up, because honestly, he's got years and years of experience. And you know what? For me, all I want to say on the matter of that is things are looking pretty good for us in the summer transfer window. I mean, I feel like I hear a few names that have already been rumoured, but things are looking good, and I think this man, hopefully will be able to help us out with that. But anyways, that has been a long week of both on and off the pitch stuff, which has been crazy. Let's take a look to next week. Obviously, the women are on their international break, but we will have 2 games from the men in the Premier League, so let's take a look at that. Guys, guess what? Bukayo Saka is back. Our star boy will be playing this week. I'm not hopeful that he's going to be playing the full 90. I hope he's not as well, actually playing the full 90 for both games, because he's just come back for 3 months of being injured. I'm not looking for him to get injured again, but I'm just excited to see him play, and I feel like this would definitely boost us this week. I've just looked at my camera, and my camera is actually dying, so I'm going to keep this very brief, and I feel like I have waffled on in the other sections anyways. But this week we have 2 fixtures. Tomorrow at 7:45pm we are facing Fulham. It is a home game in the Premier League, and Arteta said Bukayo is ready to go, so honestly, best believe he'll be playing tomorrow. Don't know how long for, but I'm going to predict a comfy 2-0 win for the Gooners. Then at the weekend, keeping this very brief, very sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get to the end of this podcast episode. At the end of the week, on Saturday, the 5th of April, we are playing Everton. This is an away fixture. It's at 12:30pm, and it is also in the Premier League. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win to us. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet for this one, sadly, because it's David Moyes' side now. Like, he's come in, he's doing a mad one with them. Like, he's doing so much with them, and I do feel like they could score because of him. But also, you look at us, we want to end our season on a high. We're currently second. We are so far away from Liverpool that we're not going to catch them. But we've also got people chasing us right down in 3rd, 4th. So I think any points we can get is a blessing. So I'm going to predict 2 wins from these 2 Premier League predictions. And yeah, phew, I've got that in before the camera died. Okay, perfect. That is the end of this episode. I really hope you enjoyed watching it or listening, whether you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it on Spotify. What else should I say? I feel like it's been a really good week for football for us. It has obviously been the women's side, so the last 2 episodes have been very female dominated, but next week it's probably going to be a bit more of a male dominated one, because for the next couple of weeks the women are on their international break and the men are back in the Premier League and Champions League, which will start in a couple of weeks. So yeah, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to based on the video, and also subscribe. And if you're listening, follow. 5-star review would be amazing. But anyways, thank you for watching. This next episode will be out at the weekend, slightly earlier, because of all the different match schedules that are going on, different fixtures. There's so many for them, honestly. I'm literally just doing a podcast. Can't imagine how they're feeling being an actual player, both the men's and women's side. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.